but no comms. Just beep beep. I think I'm supposed to be saying cheerio to some of you, but I cannot. I'm not sure what's... Right, sorry everybody, I'm not 100% certain what's happening. We seem to have a couple of gremlins, but what I am going to do is I'm going to say goodbye to some of you, and we will see you next time on Safari Live, and I'm going to send you back down to South Africa.
Alright, so she's gotten a little bit tired of licking the fur off that water buck, and she stopped eating a bit. She's been calling the cub every now and then. The cub seems not to be listening, but to be fair, she's not calling very loud, and the wind is blowing in the wrong direction. So I'm sure that cub is still fast asleep, and she seems too tired to want to come down and go and fetch it. And she's napping. Shame. So we're still on the lookout for the emergence of the cuteness that is Thandi's cub. Now she's doing her typical leopard pose. I love that shot, Seb. With belly on the branch, feet hanging down, her head on one paw. Sorry, she's just put it behind that branch a little bit there. And up on a almost 90-degree angle branch in a marula tree. Very typical leopard of the Lowveld. When I worked up in Zambia, in South Luangwa National Park, the leopards there really love sausage trees, interestingly enough. Now, we don't have too many of them here. As we know, we just have that one that doesn't have any fruits. So while we're waiting for our cub to come out and for Thandi to be a little bit more active, let's head on over to Herbie, who I believe has an antelope species on foot.
We are following some Nyalas. They are trying to avoid us going into the thick vegetation, but we know it's open on the other side. We'll use a different approach to see if we'll get a good view of the Nyalas. Nyala is one of the animals with a very distinctive sexual dimorphism, where the male is completely different to the female. The male tends to be darker with some stripes, and the female is brownish or reddish with some stripes too. But the other difference is that the male Nyala carries horns with no horns on the female. So Nyala is one of the antelopes that will also register as it walks. The hind foot will go on top of the front foot. That's how we tell the difference between the Nyala tracks and the Impala tracks. We also had a view of some zebras. They're also running away from us. They don't want to be seen. But unfortunately, we are in a very, very open space. There are the zebras together with the Nyalas heading towards the dam, which is very dry at the moment. Because of the wind, they might be disturbed because they're not sure about their surroundings. They will look for cover. I know they are very close to the area where these zebras lost one of their family members from the two lionesses with a cub about a week ago. So they are still very skittish. They know they are not safe in this area. They'll try and avoid moving from one area to another. They are now at the dam itself. For those who are fortunate enough to be very close to our dam camera, they might also get the visual of the both the Nyalas and the zebras. We will try and reposition ourselves, and while doing that, we're gonna link you to Taylor. Oh, sorry, to Tristan.
Well, Herbie, I suppose I've been called many things today, so you might as well join the bandwagon and start calling me trailer as well. It's all good. As long as you don't call me trailer park, that will be not ideal at all. Right, now, we've failed in finding very much animal related today. We've had lots of cool little things that we've seen, but Viam and I are desperate for our spotted kitties, or any kitty really, and so we're going to try and see if we can find this lion. We're going to concentrate a little harder. It's now gotten overcast, it's gotten cooler, and it's kind of perfect conditions for lions to actually be quite active now. So we were hoping that maybe if we head back into that area where we had the tracks, that we'll get lucky enough and we'll maybe be able to find something on this particular individual. I'm very interested to know who it is, where it's gone, and what's happening, because I drove Zoe's, Tuxton drove Zoe's, and neither of us have found any sign of that lion crossing Zoe's road. Now, he's at least got a tracker and his eyes, and obviously Viam and I as well. And so with four of us sort of looking, I doubt that that lion has been able to cross that area. So I'm hopeful that it's just lying under a bush somewhere, and maybe we just missed it, that it was just off the road. It could have also gone into this very dense thicket that I have on my left hand side. There's a drainage line that runs here, and it is not very pleasant at all. You can see there's not really much of a view there. There's all sort of bush and grass and thick areas, and so not very pleasant. But maybe, just maybe, this is where that lion has gone to go and lie down. We're going to go check and just make double sure. The interesting thing is that it went past the drainage line section, so I'm hoping it's on the sort of the ridge area rather than the drainage line section. Now, Tom, you're wondering how much longer the wet season is and how much rain, you know, are we going to still get? Well, Tom, the wet season generally runs until about April, so that's when we normally start to see rain starting to kind of slow down, and we then start to get dry and cooler temperatures. But in saying that, last year we had rain very late into April, and I think even a bit into May, so it seems as though the seasons have pushed out a little bit, but we are incredibly dry at the moment still. We need a lot more rain than what we've received. It was interesting because yesterday the rain was incredibly patchy, so where we are here, we only got, I think, about 3 or 4 mils of rain, very little, that was in this area, whereas parts of the Sabi Sands, so Ulasaba on the western sector, and then closer to home, Elephant Plains, which is not too far from us, they got 40 and 20 respectively, which is a lot more rain than we received, that's for sure. Now, I want to show you the tracks quickly of this lion so you can believe me and don't think that I'm making things up, but should be there. Sorry, Viam, I know the car's a bit close, but there is the track for this lion. You can see it is on top of the rain. Now, this morning we had rain. While we were out on bushwalk, there were spots of rain falling, and that has not got a single spot of rain on it. So this lion must have been moving during the sort of morning or just after drive when the rain stopped, which is exciting news. So we're going to try track it with a little bit more earnest and try and see if we can find this individual. And while we do that, let's go back across to Noel, who's had a far more successful afternoon than we have.
Tristan, I believe you. Oh, she's calling the cub. Listen. And of course, as I say that, she goes quiet. Hold on, she might do it again. Can we hear it? It's very faint. You hear that? The birds are being too loud in the background, I think. But she's looking intently. She can see the cub. I'm sorry, she's just doing it very quietly. So hopefully we'll see the cub soon. And yes, Tristan, as I was saying, I believe you, the lion's there. I believe it's going to come out. Now, everyone, we mustn't forget the exciting news that on the 4th of February at 10 o'clock Eastern in the United States, we will be live, 100% live on Nat Geo Wild for 5 nights. 5 nights in a row. So the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th at 10 p.m. Eastern on Nat Geo Wild. And during that time, we're going to be playing Safari Bingo. And Safari Bingo, you can look up all the rules at natgeo.com/Safari Live. And 2 people are going to be able to win a trip to see what we're seeing now in Africa from winning Safari Bingo. So head on over there to natgeo.com/Safari Live and find out how the rules are played. And then hopefully one of the amazing viewers that we have in the US will win that trip and be able to come for a once-in-a-lifetime experience to Africa to see possibly the Big Five. I'm super excited for whoever that might win. And don't forget about our live TV shows. It's really exciting. All right, now back to Tandy, who's much more interesting than my face. She's still calling. Any of you that were watching a couple weeks ago when we had Shadow calling for her youngster, Shadow was getting super annoyed because she couldn't hear or smell or see her youngster, so she was calling really loudly. Now, Thandi is looking in the same spot, so I think she can physically see her cub. We just have a bush that's at the back, so we can't see possibly where she's looking and the direction that she's going in. I'm trying to move my body a little bit to see if I can see anything. And so I think one of the reasons why she's calling quietly is because she can see, which means that she can see whatever the cub's doing. And she's obviously just way too full and tired to want to move. And she's possibly saying to that cub, like, hey, listen, I'm up here. Come here. All right, now while we're waiting for this cub to emerge and we still have some time to see it, let's head back on over to Herbie, who still has some Nyala on foot.
If Thandi is not waiting for the baby, she will be hunting some Nyalas. We still following this Nyala. And we don't always look for Nyalas. They will sometimes come for us. And as you can see here, this Nyala is now very relaxed, approaching us. We had the visual of 2 males and 1 female, which I believe they were following the female on hit. To me, this looks like the one who is losing and the rest are gone. He gave up. It looks to me that he gave up. He understands the situation and he is now approaching the pen very close to us. I'll say he's about 12 meters away from us. He's still checking. I've seen him around the camp, very relaxed. He's habituated to vehicles and also to people on foot. He don't see us as a threat at all. The word Nyala is a Shangaan word for onion. An onion, because of the tangy smell that comes out from the meat when you eat the meat. I can see another Nyala approaching him. Are they going to fight? Mohammed. The Nyalas look beautiful to you, and they also look beautiful to me. They are one of the most beautiful antelopes I've ever seen, in different colors, with some beautiful spots. And this one, he's enjoying the last drink of the day before he goes to sleep. And the friend is waiting, he's not sure of us, still investigating, but seeing the other one very relaxed, he might approach and join in the drinking spot as well. It's always good to have sundowner. Quite unsure, but slowly approaching. To me, this looks like taking a baby to town. The baby will look at the reaction of the parent and he will react according to the situation. that one is still checking. He knows and sees that the other one is busy drinking. He sees us as friends, not threats, but he's still unsure. What will he do? First lady, why does a Nyala have brown body and brown legs and gray body? I believe it has got something to do with camouflage. The body, as the Nyala walks, the grass or the green of the trees, it's compared to the body of the animals. It makes it very well. The Nyala blends in so well on the body, on the thickets, and also the legs has got something to do with grass on the ground, because the brownish color of the grass the Nyala will blend in so well, especially this time of the year, with the brown color of the grass. He's still unsure, but I believe he's gonna approach and drink. We know we're gonna go and see what Noel is holding for us, and we'll create the space to this Nyala for him to drink.
Thanks, Herbie. All right, so in the interim, we can now hear the cub. We can't see it yet, but we can hear it. It's calling back to Mum, and Mum's like, "Child, I have told you where I am. I've called you. I'm pretty sure you can see me. Just come." So we're still waiting with bated breath, but I can just hear it. Hold on one sec. It's behind this tree behind us. I'm going to see if we can hear it again. There. It's very faint. I think it's going to be too hard to hear, unfortunately, because she's just a little bit too far away. And by the way, I've conceded to Tristan. It's a girl. Oh well, I didn't win that bet. I'll win other bets. Okay, I think it's going to take about 5 minutes for this little cuteness to come out. So we'll let you see Tandy in the meantime. And we're sitting as quietly as we can. She's happy, she's in her tree, she's taking a nap. And when she calls the cub and she looks up, she can see where the cub is. So... oh, I can see it. It's right behind us, Seb. It's right behind us. I've got it, guys. It's going to be an awkward angle, but she's directly behind us. We're going to try and get around to show you a little view. Oh, she's going to go away a little bit. I don't want to move the car just yet because I don't want to scare it off. She was directly behind where Seb's sitting, which is it's hard to get all the way around. But that being said, we've seen her. There, we can hear her again. Where we saw Tandy in the very beginning lying under that dead tree, that's where that cub is now, and it's just a little bit more to our left. So she should be coming out soon. Oh, very exciting. Tandy's eyes have opened up a little bit. So one of the reasons why I'm whispering is, one, is that if the cub comes closer, you might be able to hear. But then also because the cub knows that we're fine and that we're in a safe space, and that has a lot to do with Mum. But it's really important when this cub is this small that we try to mitigate any loud noises so as to not scare it off. Because what they do at this age is they don't necessarily run away, but they sort of duck down like this and then scamper off. So I'm whispering and I'm just looking every now and then behind. So yeah, I think next couple of minutes we'll definitely come a little bit closer and we'll be able to get it on screen for you. We're gonna have to cross fingers and hold thumbs, but I think it's gonna be pretty epic. And I do do hope that it comes out just here and scampers up and goes up the tree. That's my wish for everybody. She's probably smelling around, trying to figure out exactly which way she wants to come. She knows we're here, as does Tandy. And again, if Tandy didn't want us here, she would let us know. Earlier, she was just really hot and bothered, so she curled her lip a little bit, but she's much cooler now, so she's happier. Andrea, good question. You're asking if a leopard can take down a male Nyala. Andrea, I've seen a big male leopard, probably about a 95 kilogram male leopard, take down a male Nyala. We've also had a leopards, friends of mine have seen, and I believe Jamie up in the Mara got it on camera for you all, with that male hoisting that small giraffe. So yeah, a male Nyala would definitely be in the cards, no doubt about that. But again, it depends on what their specialty is. So the most things that I've seen Tandy with are Impala and Diker, and then, as you know, she also likes Steenbok, and then this waterbuck, baby waterbuck that's with her is just a bit bigger than a Diker, and so that's what she tends to go for. But she's also going for those sized animals at the moment, not just because it's a little bit easier for her and because she knows how to do it, but also when she has a cub to feed, the nutrients that come out of teeny tiny waterbucks like that are very, very high. So she's gonna go for very nutritious, meaty meals. That's actually quite a beautiful shot there with the clouds in the background. Ellen, you're curious if maybe this tree is a challenge for her. Ellen, it's entirely possible. I've seen cubs this little up in trees like this. And of course it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I don't think that the cub is keeping away because of it. I do think it's just trying to figure out how it's gonna get here. Now, of course, Tristan's back from leave, and he is our leopard whisperer, and I believe he has a rosetted cat he would like to show you.
We do indeed, and this is a cat that we don't know very well at all. It looks like Ingrid Dam young female or Xidulu female from afar. I can't see nicely just yet, but that's who it looks like at the moment. So I'll just double check. She's just on the right, on the southwestern corner of Djuma, close to sort of the southern boundary, and so I'm not sure how much longer we're going to have her. The interesting thing is that she's marking, which means that that's very interesting indeed. Now, maybe some of you can just confirm for me. I can't see, I've seen her tail area, and hopefully she's going to look over her shoulder now when she scent marks. But look, you see she's rubbing. That's a clear indication that she is trying to take over this area. Now, this is an area where Shadow spends most of her time. So there we go. Is it you, girl? It looks like her. I can't be 100% sure, but it looks like her, that's for sure. I'll try and get around to her face. It's just brief glimpses. I know a lot of you will be able to get photos of her from the various websites and maybe be able to tell me who it is, but it looks like Ingrid Dam young female or Xidulu female. So they've changed her name to Xidulu female at the moment. Not my favorite name for her, but I suppose the Ingrid Dam young female had to go as well. So we couldn't have a situation where we had Ingrid Dam young female, Ingrid Dam female, and all of those. So it was better for us to have a situation where we have a new name. It's just that Xidulu has been used by so many different places, and there's so many other Xidulu leopards that it's a little bit different to have it. Now, she's just kind of standing there. What I'm going to try and do is just get in front of her a little bit. She's a beautiful individual, whoever it is, and she's on a serious mission. She's moving quite fast. It's definitely not any of the other females that I recognize off the bat, so it doesn't look, it's definitely not Tiani, I know that for a fact, and it certainly doesn't look like Nyala either, so I'm not 100% sure who it is. Let's just stop right here, because theoretically she should come right past us. But there we go. Look, she's moving very quickly. This is so exciting. It's always nice when you get a new leopard on camera. Have we had her on camera yet? I'm not sure if we have. We might have. It does look like you. Is it you? It looks like you. I'll have to double check. I mean, it's so long since I've seen this leopard that it's difficult to know whether or not it is her. It's been a while, but you can see she's very relaxed and is seriously moving quite fast. Yes, it is her. She's got the 5 spots on the right side, which is definitely her. So that's really cool news to find her. It's absolutely amazing that we've gotten her in this area. And I wonder if she's starting to push here because Shadow is pushed so much more towards Little Gowrie. Right, now she's going to cross south in the next 1 second. She's right at the fire break at the moment, so she is going to move off fairly quickly. Let's just try and see if we can get one last view before she crosses back into Hofmans and south of Gowrie Main. She's right on the edge. Like I say, it would be nice if she got to that termite mound in front and decided just to sit down for a little bit. But how exciting is this to have another leopard on Djuma that we haven't really seen too much of? It's always very cool. So Nikki, who's in final control, you say it's the first time you've seen this leopard. Well, it'll be a first time for many people. This leopard is not seen here very often. The only other time I know of it being on Djuma and being seen on Djuma itself, so not on Arathusa, was when it came with Hukamuri male and was mating, which we actually didn't get live on air, which was James bumped into them after hours, and so that's the last that I have heard of this leopard being seen on this particular area. I think she's here a lot more than we think. We obviously always see trucks in this area and we think, well, immediately it's Shadow, but it could very well be that it's her. Now let's see, she seems to be scent marking. So First Lady, her mother is Ingrid Dam female, so comes from the Singita Londolozi area, seen there quite regularly. I've seen this leopard many times before. It's not my first time to see this leopard. I've been fortunate enough to see her a lot. Now she's going, this is interesting, she's heading a bit more west. I'm going to jump ahead of her. Hold on, Viam, let's rather go to Gowrie Main, because that's going to be better. If she continues on this westerly direction, we can just follow her along. This is cool. No, she's turning south now. She's going to come our way, and we're going to get a beautiful view of her leaving us for the time being. But she's on a serious scent marking mission. Wherever she's going, she's doing it quickly, and she's making sure that she's marking everywhere she goes, which is fascinating to see. How cool is this? Oh, so good to see leopards in the Sabi Sands. I was fortunate enough to see a number of leopards in the Kruger while I was up in that area on leave, but there's nothing like a Sabi Sand leopard and nothing like her just moving around on the main road right out in the open, as relaxed as she is. But there she goes into Hofmans now, so she's going southwards. I just want to see, there's a little place here that she might scent mark. It's an area that Karula used to scent mark a lot when she used to cross here, and Shadow, both of them used to use. There's a big marula here, and they both used to scent mark at that marula. So let's see if she also does it. I've seen both of them do it many times before. Yep, there we go. I don't know why this marula is so important to all these leopards, but Shadow and Karula used to both scent mark on that exact same marula. I used to see Karula in this marula quite often as well. But there we go. Off she goes, and she's gone into Hofmans. Brief, but absolutely amazing. How cool is that? So super happy to have seen her, and what a special way to start off a working cycle. Now, while I sit here and kind of think about what I'm going to do next, let's go back across to Noel, who's got apparently a very good view of my favorite little leopard that we have at the moment.
So we got impatient and we just backed up 1/2 meter, and the reason why this cub hasn't popped up to Mum is because she's about 8 meters up into her own tree. She doesn't want to be in Mum's tree. She's climbed very high up in here, and it's giving us quite a good show. So there we go, everybody. 3-month-old leopard very high up in a tree. She capably climbed up, and now she's trying to figure out how to get down. She's working those muscles and those claws. I would go and stand under there so you could see, but that would result in probably being eaten by Tandy. So we'll just have to give you the view that we have there. Absolutely fantastic. So she's decided she doesn't want Mum, and she doesn't want the meat. She wants her own special tree to herself. One of us, you're curious to know if a predator could get the cub if it was in a tree. Yes, if the predator was a lion or a leopard. Look, cheetah could possibly get up there. A hyena definitely can't, and a wild dog can't. But other leopards, of course, and lions, yes, of course, as well. But that little cub would go straight up to the tippy-top branches, which would be harder for a heavier predator to get into. There's your uber cuteness for the day, everybody. I'm really excited that she's decided to climb around for us like this. I think she's trying to figure out now if she's if she's gonna, sorry, I'm jiggling the camera, if she's gonna lie up there or sort of how to get down. When she was getting up, she was not as elegant as her mother getting up a tree, and that's again because she's still learning. So now I think because she's up there, she's now contemplating the descent. It's easier sometimes to get up than get down. And Mum has turned her head away in the complete opposite direction and is having a mum nap. She's decided that she's not going to deal with her child for the moment. John, you're curious to know if we know who the cub's father is. John, as far as we know, it's Tingana. I was with VM the other night. Tandy had made it down to Chitwa and then across and then come back up, and VM was making funny jokes about her looking for Tingana to try and collect child support. I laughed really hard. I had to share that with all of you. So yeah, as far as we know, the father's Tingana. Look, I'm not quite sure if we caught it on camera, the mating. I wasn't working here then, but this is Tingana's territory. Mvula's not really around much, and Hassana and Tamba are way too young. So yeah, Tingana's the best bet. Shame that little cub is just lying there. Alright, well, we keep an eye on this little one, waiting to see if she's going to get down or if she's going to start calling Mum. Let's head on over to Herbie, who has a teeny tiny little predator he would like to show you.
From big predator to small predator. This is a flower mantid, one of the smallest predator. The flower mantid always hangs around the wealth areas. It uses the wealth area to catch insects responding to the wealth area flowers. And because it's so well camouflaged, it makes it difficult for the prey to see the mantid. A flower mantid practices cannibalism, where the female will eat the male after mating. So for the male to survive, he will approach the female while being distracted by something for mating. He will quickly retreat for avoiding being eaten by the female. So that's how the mantid survives. So well camouflaged, very, very difficult to see it. But as we walk, we'll move from one area to another.
Hi everyone, sorry about those little bit of technical difficulty with Herbie. Our little cub is grooming herself in the tree. I think she's just copycatting Mum at this point, but she's just being a little bit obstinate. But it's good. It's good for her to be obstinate at this age, because this is how she learns, and this is how she grows, and this is how she forms all of the muscles she needs to be a good adult in the next year and sort of 9 months. And it's also, we were chatting, I think it was over Christmas time, we were chatting, Ferg and I were driving around, and we were doing some chit-chatting with all of you, and we were filming as we were driving through the Milwaukee and showing up in the trees, and I was saying how it's always important when we're looking for Tandy with the cub like this to just triple check the trees, because most of the time you will find them inside of burrows, but as you know, and now as you can all see, she camouflages up there really well. And because she's a little bit darker, because she's a little bit smaller, it's a nice little place for her to hide herself. I also don't think she's going to move anytime soon, to be honest. I think she's very happy and comfortable where she is. I would like for her to move a little bit so you can see how she gets down. I've also seen with cubs this small, when they're trying to get down, because they are not as adept as the adults, it is slightly comical. And also the way that their balance starts to work, they're still figuring out how to find their centers of gravity. And so sometimes they'll slip a little bit, then they hang by a claw, and then they sort of figure their footing out, and then it'll happen again. They hang by the other claw, and they half climb, half stumble, half fall. But every now and then their descent is spot on. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. First lady, you're noticing how her back legs are dangling there, just like we were showing with Mum earlier, and they're teeny tiny, and it is very cute with her little tail curled and twitching around. Mum's doing the exact same posture in her own tree. Here we go. With a teeny bit of the sunset in the background there. We're not going to get a very good sunset, I don't think, tonight. I think there's too many clouds. But we have half of our shot with a leopard in a tree at sunset. Now, all we needed for the perfect shot is less leaves, more sunset, and for Thandi to maybe stand and do a yoga stretch. And then that would be the photography shot of my year. Margaret, good question. You would like to know, how far can leopards jump without harming themselves? So, Margaret, where Thandi is, she's not as high as that cub. What do you think, Seb? About 10 meters? Maybe 20?
No, what, Tandy?
Yeah.
8 meters?
8 meters.
Yeah.
Sorry, my depth perception of her up into the sky is very bad. So double where Thandi is, so let's say 16 meters. And a friend of mine watched a leopard jump out of a branch from there and onto impala and kill the impala and didn't harm herself. So yeah, pretty high. But I couldn't give you a definitive number because every leopard's different, just like every human's different. Yeah, 16 meters, eh? I can jump a certain amount without harming myself, but I probably couldn't jump the way that Usain Bolt could jump without harming himself. It's the exact same thing. There's very few black and whites when it comes to the wildlife. There's a lot of gray that deals with the individuals. So now the cub, I think the cub is probably more like 10 meters. What do you think, Seb? Maybe 12?
Yeah, higher, huh? Yes,
12.
Mm-hmm.
12, maybe 15?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she's up much higher than Mum. Ooh, she's moving for us. Checking a little bit. There's been some elephants that have been crying in the background. I wonder if she can see them. Or she's decided that she's now going to venture down. Now, I've seen little cubs like this go up even higher and then get stuck there. There's no fire department for that. She's checking that other branch. If she jumps, I am going to be over the moon. That's one of the things I love about when leopards are in trees, their ability to jump from branch to branch. And also chase things like monkeys and tree squirrels through the branches. It's absolutely incredible. All right, little one, what are you going to do? She's just investigating her surroundings, smelling, looking around. Trying to maneuver herself. Christy, you're saying you're happy that the little one has managed to become curious enough to climb up into the tall trees to help steer clear of predators. Christy, it is true, it is helpful, but she's not out the clear yet. She still is very tiny and she needs to get a bit bigger. But also any predator throughout their life is never truly in the clear. But it is good that she's managed to find another place to put herself for just in case. What are you going to do, little one? Here she goes. I think she's debating if she wants to get down or not. And I think while she's debating if she wants to get down or not, she's trying to see, well, maybe if I go up, it might be easier. Now, of course, we know the up is easier. Now that mixed in with she's curious about everything. And the smells are different up there. She'll smell tree squirrels. There'll be lizard smells. I think she might be choosing down. There we go. One tentative paw. A look around. Maybe she'll do another tentative paw. Nope. She's like, that's too daunting for me. I'm gonna go back up. Alright. And she's on her 90-degree angle branch. Let's head over to Tristan while our little Tandy cub tries to figure out how to get down out of this tree.
Well, hopefully she'll work it out. I'm sure she will. It's just not like a leopard won't figure it out eventually, and it's all part of, I suppose, learning. If it's the cub and if it was Thandi, well, she's experienced enough to know how to get out fairly easily. Still no sign of this lion coming out anywhere on this western side. I've now checked all the way along Impala Plains, going northwards now up towards Vertella Access, and I want to check towards Sydney's Dam area in case that lion came out somewhere in that section, but so far no sign of it. So we're lucky that we bumped into that leopard. I'm so surprised that she's there, and what I did actually was also come from where she came from and just checked behind her, because she has been mating with the male, as I mentioned, the last couple of days. So the Hukamuri male, or that unknown male that was around and was seen by Scott on the bushwalk during the rehearsals for our last TV show. And so that particular male was mating with her yesterday, I believe. I'm not sure where they were mating, but they were mating. And so I was thinking maybe, just maybe, she's somewhere behind, well, he was somewhere behind her as she was walking along, or maybe she was tracking him. I'm not quite sure, but looked around, didn't really find any tracks for him anywhere there. Could also be why she was on such a mission to get everywhere. It's just a scent mark and try and get herself kind of out there, and maybe she then picks up Tingana and starts mating with him, just maybe making sure that she gets all the males around. But she certainly put a big stamp down on Zoe's, and if Shadow comes along there, she's not going to be very happy at all with all of that. There was a serious amount of scent marking that just took place, which is absolutely amazing. So it's interesting just to see the dynamics once again starting to change a little bit, and our dynamics at the moment are incredible. We've had so many different things happening in the leopard world, from our males to our females. Everybody seems to be a little unsettled. Now I've stopped here because there's a view of the sort of skyline to our west, and it's not a very sort of spectacular view, but you can see how dark it is in the distance. You can see there's darkness, and then there's a little sunset next to the dead tree that is starting to take place. So the sun is just dipping behind the Drakensberg Mountains in that area and making this beautiful orange coloration, and it's a very striking sort of image of the dark clouds. And hopefully these dark clouds that we're seeing are going to indicate some rain, because we do need a lot more rain. It is still very dry for this time of the year. This is not looking good at all. In fact, there's more brown grass than there is green grass at the moment. Now, just to our right here, Vim, if you come right along the sky a little bit, you'll see that there looks like a wall of water that's actually starting to come towards us as we speak. So in that direction there, that looks quite dark and rainy, doesn't it? It looks as though there's a bit of water falling in that area. I wonder if that's not going to come our way a little bit later. It would be really nice if it did. Hopefully we would get a bit of rain. But ominous skies, which is good news indeed. Now, I'll try and get Rusty started. There we go, Rusty, well done. Now, while I kind of meander up to Sydney's Dam, I believe Tandy's cub has learnt and decided she's found a way to descend the tree.
She has found her way down, but she's also found a hole in the tree she's sticking her head into. So that's the type of hole that birds would nest in, or tree squirrels will nest in. So again, lots of smells. And her head's so tiny that she's able to stick it in. And see what we're talking about the wobbly bits. So she can get down, but it's not as good as getting up, as we said before. And so she's managed to get down to a nice little perch, but now she's not happy with her perch. So now she's going to go back up. This process is going to take a while. And if she gets really frustrated, she'll start calling Mum. But she's definitely having a moment. She's up very high. Wendy, you'd like to know how do leopards stand up in that position without falling? Wendy, they're very aware of their center of gravity. Also, their muscles are made for precarious positions, and their claws work very well. They also have locking wrists, or ankles as it were, since they have legs, that allow them to steady themselves. So part of what this cub is doing is making all of those muscles and tendons and center of gravity and depth perception, sorry, that stumbled out, work together to be able to get up and down the tree properly. And she's still practicing it. So if she weren't investigating this tree up as high as she was doing and trying all of this out, she wouldn't be able to get those skills to work. And that's also one of the reasons why she's sort of doubting herself, is that she's not 100% with those abilities yet. You can see even when she's going over these branches that are getting thinner and thinner, yes, she is smelling and investigating, but she's also sort of figuring out how her body can move on them, and it's very important. It's just like when a human toddler starts to learn to walk, and then to run, and then to play sport as you get older, etc., etc. It's the exact same process. There she's turning around again. Alright, now Herbie's made it over to the tree where the lightning struck last night. So I think let's head on over to him, and we'll keep an eye on this little cub, and if she starts going down fully, we'll let you know.
I'm hiding indeed in one of the most scariest trees I've ever seen. This is the same tree that we visited this morning, and unfortunately we got chased by elephants. This is the tree that got struck by lightning yesterday. As you can see, the evidence here, the digging here, and on the other side as well. I was told that if a tree or a house gets struck by lightning, it will leave the eggs underneath. It will dig at the base of the house or at the base of the tree, as you can see here. And in that way, it will leave the eggs underneath. So when the next season comes, like next year, it will visit the same tree to collect its eggs and away. But if this area is burned after the strike, the eggs will be gone at the same time. It's only if they're not burned that the lightning will come back to the same area to collect its eggs. It's amazing. Everyone was shaking, and we all understand. Mother Nature does what she likes. I feel safe. But after seeing this, I won't come again and hide at any base of the tree. I'll be out for my own safety. I know it's not training, but we'll be heading slowly in the direction of the house. But while doing so, I'll send you back to my friend Tristan.
Well, Herbie, no, unfortunately our leopard crossed south, but we did have one a little bit earlier, and I think Herbie would have been very excited to have seen leopard. It would have been one that I think he's seen her before, somewhere else, maybe when he did a bit of freelancing for Chitwa once. I seem to remember him being in a sighting of that particular leopard way back when. But I agree with Herbie wholeheartedly about that lightning making one feel a little uneasy when you see how much damage it did to that tree and to that animal. It certainly would not have been to stand under that tree at all. I feel like it would have been a horrid experience to be hit by that. Not that, no, I don't think. I think it's one of those strikes that you pretty much just instantly. And that, although the duiker from where it was sitting this morning, it looked like it's kind of bolted a little bit and then just fell over. So maybe the crash happened and the light happened and it tried to, and then the electricity came. I don't know. It's interesting though. There was a little scuffle and then it fell over right where it was, where we found it. So pretty insane thing, and definitely a little uneasy full icing can be. We got towards Sydney's Dam, went past Sydney's Dam, very quiet, not much happening at all, and so now we're up on the boundary. I'm just checking for where this line could have gone. I can't find, actually, hang on a second, I was about to say I can't find any sign of it, but I think I just did find sign of it, although these don't look very fresh. Look, I wonder if these are not the tracks that came in. So there are lion tracks here that are a very similar size, but these don't look nearly as fresh. These look as though they're from, maybe, oh sorry Vildi, I'm a bit close, hold on. I'm a little close for VM at the moment, let me just reposition myself. So these look as though maybe it's from the lion when he came in at some point yesterday. So they're over there, you can see them very faintly in the sand. They've got a lot more rain on top of them, so those are not tracks that we need to be following. I thought it might be the same tracks. There's another clearer one over there, but these are definitely from prior rain, whereas the ones that we had to start the drive are from after rain. So maybe this is the tracks where he came in from, and then that's why he's headed in a southerly direction rather than a northerly direction. Right, so I think what I'm going to do is just take Aubrey's and go south, and maybe I get lucky, we'll go past that last little place that we had tracks and where we lost the tracks. Maybe we get a last minute line, who knows, but that's going to be the plan anyway. How we do that, back across to Noelle, who I'm sure has loved her afternoon with the beautiful Tandy and
Tristan, I have so loved my afternoon with Tandy and Cub. I've not gotten a chance in a long time to spend this long with the Cub and have it be out and about, so it's been really magical. We've just maneuvered around so that you can see the Cub a little bit better, because she just keeps climbing higher and higher into the tree. She's investigating us a little bit, and you can actually see, I mean, she's really up there. Teeny tiny with her little tail hanging down and having a look-see at us, wondering who we are and what we're up to. Nathan, you'd like to know if Tandy will have another cub while she still has this little cub. Nathan, Tandy will only start going into estrus, into mating, again when this cub is older, closer to 2 years. Then her body will say, okay, it's time for a new cub. Although I believe Tristan was chatting the other day about this possibly maybe because of the age of Tandy being the last cub, but you never know. Could be, you might get another litter or two out of her. We'll have to wait and see. It would be very difficult for her to take care of this little cub and be pregnant and then take care of another little cub. It's predators would have a very hard time functioning like that. So lion, leopard, and cheetah, they have their litter. They wait for their litter to become older teenagers / adults, and then they'll have another litter. So cute. There's your screenshots for the day, everybody. Now Tandy is standing up on her tree over it, and you can actually see that sunset a little bit. There we go. She's having a look to see. I don't think she can see where the cub is from here. I think that she saw which tree the cub was in. That's beautiful, everybody. Look at those colors in the background. Still not quite the shot we want, but I'll take it for tonight. And you can see her fat belly. She's eaten a lot. A steambuck, a baby waterbuck, thus leads to fat pants. Not fitting. There was a diker that ran past earlier that Thandi was also watching, and you could see her. She's like, oh, food. Oh, I can't move. Too full. And there we go. Precariously moving on her perch, as leopards do, very deftly. Chelsea, you're curious to know if this is Tandy's first litter. Chelsea, no, it's not. Tandy is 11, almost 12 years old. I think we decided earlier from Tristan's estimates. So this is her 5th or 6th litter, as far as I understand it. She's got Tumba and Kachava and 2 others. One that moved into the Kruger, and one that was killed by Tingana as an adult, and then this one. So this would have been the 5th litter, 4th or 5th litter. So yeah, 5 or 6 litters possibly. I don't think all of her litters have made it. But again, Tristan would be your man on the ground to triple check with that. And then we're going to come back to the little cubbo. Not as nice of a background, a little bit blown out. But again, blending in, camouflaging very well. Which actually looks like part of the tree branch. And that's the point. She looks like she's going to have a nice nap. Yeah, I agree, everybody. It is very beautiful. This has been a special afternoon for all of you, but for myself and Seb as well. You never get tired of leopard cubs or lion cubs or cheetah cubs or hyena cubs or wild dog pups or baby elephants. Maybe it's a girl thing, I don't know, or maybe it's just that they're so super cute. I'm still so amazed at how high. The back of a big, huge male elephant couldn't even reach up as high as this little cub is. She's really high up. Ellen, you're correcting me in saying it wasn't Tandy's cub that was killed. Tingana didn't kill it. It was the Styx Pride. I'm just trying to remember. I had another viewer that sent me through a couple of things about those leopards. I'm believing you, but then there was a female that was killed by Tingana, and for some reason I felt like it was one of Tandy's youngsters. But obviously I have misremembered that. Sorry about that. I think let's head back to the sunset with Tandy because it's very beautiful. I'm loving those oranges and pinks and peaches and a little bit of yellows in the back there. All right, everybody, we don't have a lot of time left, so we're going to have these wonderful views whilst we wrap everything up. And I want everyone to not forget, of course, about our live TV shows that are happening from the 4th of February. They're going to be live in the United States, and it's going to start at 10 p.m. Eastern Time after that big game. And then it's going to go on the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. The 8th will be our last night, so 5 nights of Safari Live in the United States at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And during that time, we'll be playing Safari Bingo, so go to natgeo.com/Safari Live for the rules on Safari Bingo. 2 of you could win a trip to Africa. How exciting! So thank you so much from all of us, Tandy and Cub, everyone in the Mara. Have a really great evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:30 our time.